Hi all. Hey, so today's a little bit different. I'm actually off farm today. I'm doing some teaching, and I'm at Fielding High School here on the dairy farm, just doing some assessments for some kids. I'm just waiting for the next kid to turn up. So I thought I might shoot a little bit of footage of the robot because I know there'll be a few people interested in it. This machine is called a De La Val voluntary milking system, and it's kind of neat. So what it does is it milks one cow at a time. The cows come in from a yard out here, and when they originally come into the yard, there's two electronic gates which draft them based on a whole bunch of sort of parameters which determine how soon they need to be milked. So we can see one gate there, and there's another gate out there. So the high priority cows come into this little pen here. So there's currently two cows waiting in the high priority pen, and then there's one cow in the milker. So this cow in the milker, you can hear a little rattling noise, a little rattle just then. She's actually being fed, so it's read her ear tag. She's got an EID tag just there. It reads her tag and determines how much feed she's allowed, and it also pulls up all her data. So over here, it's got a digital readout which tells us how much milk's come from each individual teat. So you see this one here, the cup's actually just come off, so there's zero flow. And so now the arm will come back and it'll just adjust those tubes so that the cow continues to milk properly. It looks like it's about to take off that other front teat, just there, cracks the cup. So instead of milking until all four teats are finished and a couple of teats being over milked, what it does is it's sensing the individual flow of each teat and taking the cup off that teat as required. And so it actually forecasts the yield based on how much milk she made last time. And so it says it's expecting 13.1 litres of milk, and she's producing 11.8, and it has a yield forecast for each cup. So it's taken off the third cup and still milking on the fourth one, but it is starting to drop off. She's at 600, 400 mils per minute. We'll back up again a little bit. And when it drops to a certain level, I can't remember what the threshold is, the machine will decide that she's had enough. Starting to drop right down, 200s and 300s. So you can see obviously the cows are very comfortable with the whole thing. That cow's quite anxious to get in and get milked, so she's crowding the gate, making sure that when the gate opens she has the opportunity. There'll be a little process once this cow's finished milking, so once that cup looks like it's just about finished, so we'll drop down to next to nothing. There's the cups. So a gate will open on the far side. It's just teat spraying the cow now. So now she's teat sprayed, she's finished, and out she goes. Cleaning the floor, cleaning the camera. So the camera's been cleaned on a little sponge. The cups will be washed, rinsed. The cups are all there. So now it's cleaning the individual teats. So this cup is just for cleaning the cow's teats. And it'll strip out a little bit of milk while it does it. So the little red laser is detecting the position of the teat. Now you can see there's actually a little piece of dung there which is buggering up the laser. Laser finds another teat. Now the robot actually knows more or less where the teats will be because it knows who the cow is based on her tag. But obviously on any given day that udder will change shape. So behind me you can see the robot with the cows being milked, and there's a couple of cows in the yard now. One of those is the cow that was actually just milked, and there's another cow who's a low priority cow. so she's not ready to be milked again. But once the cow's been milked, the robotic gates, so there's one there and one on the far side of the yard, will make decisions about where they can go. So do they go back to the paddock they've been grazing, or do they have access to the next paddock? So the cows are actually allowed access to 3 separate paddocks in a day, and that's what encourages the cows to come through the robot to be milked, because they want to graze the new paddock. So at certain points in the day, each paddock will open up, and cows will have priority based on when they were last milked and their expected yield and various other bits and pieces. So we've got a cow here. She's actually she's being drafted through again. So you can see she's full, and if she goes through the other gate on the other side of the yards, we'll see where she is in the priority queue. She's leading in. So she's actually allowed to go straight ahead. So now she's high enough priority to get higher in the milking queue. And because she's a dominant cow, she'll actually push that other cow out of the way, which is, you know, that dominance hierarchy with the cows is one of the reasons why the robot doesn't allow more than 5 cows to go into that priority pen, because if there's a lot, then it takes a long time. I don't know if you can just see just the yellow machine, that little Jersey cow bumped it. It's actually an automated scratcher, or cow scratcher. So essentially this is set by a little micro switch, so if it goes past a certain angle, then it starts rotating and it pivots in multiple directions. So what happens is the cows can push up against it and it'll push out of their way, and it just puts just the right amount of pressure on them to give them a scratch. And some cows love it. That girl there's obviously getting right into it. The robot's a really interesting little piece of gear, because it's not at all what I thought it was when I first heard about robotic milkers. It's not, well, this is my view anyway, it's not a replacement for somebody to milk the cow. What it is it's doing things that a human can't do. So if you compare its ability to put a set of cups on compared to a person, it's pretty feeble. You know, a person can cup a cow in a second or two, and this thing takes quite a while to achieve the same process. You know, so it's a pretty expensive farm worker. But what it does that a human can't do is it gathers data on the cow, and it just gathers so much data on the cow that you know, like a human really can't compete on that. So what it does is it actually frees up a person from cupping a cow and trying to gather data. Is it creates a much better picture of the cow, so it allows you to make heaps better feeding and breeding decisions. It gives you good information on animal health. You know, they're just a data machine. Now, it does mean that you don't have to be there at 4 in the morning to put cups on as well, which is a hell of a nice thing. I believe from my observation of it that it's quite a different way of farming to you know, typical once or twice a day milking. But I think it has a lot of potential. It's very, very interesting, and I'm told that in the Netherlands now, which is sort of home of robotic milking, I'm told there are more cows milked robotically than there are milked by people, and they're talking like something like 30,000 robots. So I know the Netherlands has a reasonably large dairy industry, but that's still a hell of a lot of robots. So interesting. The way the drafting system's kind of neat. It's intricate. It's made up of a series of one-way gates and robotic gates. So basically, these one-way gates are pretty straightforward. So the cows come in up the laneway from their paddock, and they basically have learned that they can just walk straight through those gates. And obviously, they then can't return back because of the way they're hinged. So the cows come in through the gates. So to make it into this pen here. Then essentially if they want to return to their paddock, they've got to go through this machine. So they come in through here. Over here, this is the tag reader, so it reads a variety of different tags. This big panel reads senses that they're in here and reads their tag, and then it makes a decision about where they're going to go. And so once it's made a decision, it'll set the gates, these gates through here up, so the cow can either go, she can be drafted out to be segregated for whatever reason into this pen here. She can be a priority cow that goes in to be milked, or she can go into a lower priority pen out that way. Once those gates are set, this one here opens up and lets the cow through. So if she's a priority cow, she comes into this yard here, so she'll get milked immediately. I think there's a maximum of 5, might be 6 cows allowed in this pen at any one time. So they wait in here. Now, because sometimes there's a little bit of weight, they've got a shade sail so that it's not too hot. In the summer, there's a fan with misters, another fan with another mister, so keep them cool. There's rubber matting on the ground so that they've got, it's soft on their feet. And there's also a little back scratcher. So once the milker is free, so either the previous cow's been milked or the cow's had enough time, she can step in. So she makes her way into here. So you can see there's a little feed tub there, and now you can't actually see it, but built into the side of the machine is a tag reader, so it can tell which cow it is. So what will happen is, as soon as it comes in, it'll decide how much feed she's allotted, so you can give custom rations for different cows based on production or age or health or a variety of other things, or you can just individually, I like number 5, so she gets more milk and more feed. This gate here will close behind her. This rail on her rump will actually come forward very gently, and basically what it does is it reduces the amount of room that the cow can move back and forward in the milker, so that the cow is held in a relatively steady position. She's not uncomfortable, but she's held incapable of moving back and forth too far, so that the milker can find her teats more easily. Once she's in the milker, that gate on the far side closes and the one behind her is closed up. She's held steady. The first thing the machine does is that cup there is taken off. The arm picks it up, brings it out, puts it on her teat. One at a time cleans all the teats, and then one at a time it takes these 4 cups and milks her.